today's episode of On the Ropes with Josh Shernoff, I sit down with the Von Erich brothers. Later, I shine a future star spotlight on Shaheem Ali. But right now, the Von Erichs are on the ropes. All right, I'm here now with Marshall and Ross Von Erich, the Von Erich brothers. Thank you guys so much for taking the time.
Man, thank you for having us.
All right, we're going to jump right into it here. Obviously, you're no strangers to the professional wrestling business. This is the family business for you guys. At what point in time did you say to yourselves, or maybe individually, did you say, I'm going to be a professional wrestler?
I'd probably say it was during our time in Japan. I think right when we got into it, we were still kind of feeling it out, just getting our feet wet. And then I think about halfway through, I think we had just a couple good experiences, some wins, and we're just like, kind of reinvigorated us. And so I think from that point on, we're just like, all right, we're going to pour our guts into this, and just give it our all and give it our best shot and see, where it takes us.
So when you got to that point, like in Japan, prior to that, what was what led you into, obviously we mentioned, your father and grandfather and everything. What led you into saying, I'm even going to try? Was that something where it was like, hey, this is what we do in this family? Or
So there was a, Harley Race was actually having he was having a wrestling school at the time for World League Wrestling. And my dad told us about it, and I was fresh out of high school. He was in college, and we were, why not? We'll try it. We didn't really, we really didn't have anything else going on at the time. Well, he was about to play college football, and I was throwing discus and playing football as well in high school though. So I thought I was gonna do something or college or whatever, discus or whatever. But we went over there, and there were some Japanese scouts over there. And we were just talking like, whoa, we could travel from this. That'd be cool to see the world from wrestling. And being kids, we always wanted to be like our dad, grow up like, or as a kid. But then as you get older, you start getting different goals. Mine were more unrealistic. I want to be an astronaut, cowboy. I am a cowboy now, so
okay.
So that
one of those dreams came true.
Yeah, I was a cowboy or an Indian, so I picked cowboy. So that one was successful, I guess, but. We got invited to Pro Wrestling Noah from these Japanese scouts, and that was a big honor that we didn't realize what an honor it was yet until we got home after the school was over. We went all out, and we just realized we had a whole new respect for professional wrestling, rather than just doing it with my dad messing around, and it became like wow, this could be something we could do, and we could just stay in shape and work out and, stay active for a reason, and so we got invited over there, and it was just a whole new respect for wrestling. You got over there, and it was just like an NFL sport. Everyone respected it and looked at it like a kind of actual sport, and we saw these guys putting in mouthpieces and just like killing each other, and we were just like, man, this is something that, I'd be proud to do, and so it was very humbling when we first got there. There was a lot of, we were getting stretched, and there was it was a lot of bumps, a lot of working out. We were American young boys, and so we learned all about Chonko, letting the older wrestlers eat first, and it was just all about respect, and so that was. It put a good mindset or gave us a good mindset for the wrestling business. Anyone that has more years than you listen to them. You can learn something from everybody, and so. I think that's when it kind of changed for us. We got to Japan, and we did our first 3-month tour without wrestling. And it was hard, leaving, and for some reason, being in Japan, you expect there to be like great service and Wi-Fi and all that. There was not. We had no Wi-Fi, but I think we were the foreigners that got Wi-Fi in the dojo. So all the foreigners and wrestling Noah.
We brought Wi-Fi to the Noah dojo, and
wow, all right.
Or we complained enough to make it happen.
Is that on your Wikipedia page? That's in there
be,
along with
yeah.
All right, we're gonna see what we can do about that.
It should be, but that's where everything kind of changed. I think changed for us, and we came home. We got to debut in Sedan, Kansas, and I just remember how nervous we were. We couldn't even talk or anything. My dad was there. It was crazy. But it just as the years went on, we stopped looking at it as a wrestling match. We started looking at, hey, we're going to Israel next week. Let's go on tours and go look around and stuff. And so we just try to make the most of every trip, because life is short. And that's one thing. I don't know if you know the history of my dad. He had brothers, and he lost all of his brothers, and so I got one brother, and so we are close. We're best friends, and so when we go to places, we like to just make the most of it. He pretty much knows everything. Or he's seen everything I've seen. Every story I have, he's there. So it's cool. We have like an unspoken language. It made us closer as brothers for sure.
That's great. At what point, you mentioned your family and everything. Obviously, people on the outside would look at it. They'd say, "Oh, it's the Von Erichs." Okay, obviously they're a shoo-in. You talked about getting stretched. Obviously, you were not given any special treatment in that regard.
Oh, no.
Have you found it to be more difficult having that Von Erich name? And did you ever think, either of you ever think, you know what? Hey, we're young. Nobody knows what we look like in the beginning. We don't need to use this Von Erich name. Maybe that's going to be more difficult for us than.
It's just about your perspective. But in Japan, yes, it was more difficult being a Von Erich because it's about respect there, and we wanted to show everybody we don't want things handed to us. But that's why my dad wanted us to go to Japan, is to start from the bottom and learn wrestling from like the fundamentals in a way. And so us going to Japan, it was, my dad kind of threw us to the wolves a little bit. And he was, when we left, we didn't know what we were going into. He did, we didn't, and it was that send-off. I'll never forget the send-off. He actually came with us for the first 3 days. And I didn't feel like prison, but when he left, it was like, oh, dang, we're here, like Tokyo, Japan. Like I've never left, I had never left the United States before that. I mean, once or twice. And, but in America, it's been nothing but a huge blessing, now that we've worked on our craft in Japan, we have a little bit of the Japanese style in our wrestling. We've thrown some American style in our wrestling as well, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't benefit us. When we go to Dallas, just that name, what my uncles and my grandfather did, it made things so much easier for us. And I can't say that didn't help, that we got ourselves here. It was God-given, and so we take that name with high honor, and it's like a responsibility. There was pressure at first, but this is how you look at it. These are the cards that we're dealt, and so we're just gonna go out there and we perform our best. We give it everything we have, and we feel like we're not letting, we're not doing anything to the name. That's what my uncles did,
Right, you're carrying that legacy with you.
It's our only choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about wrestling boots versus bare feet. I'm
barefoot.
You're barefoot and you wear boots.
Yeah.
Was that obviously, I'm assuming there was a choice. Nobody said to you, hey, listen, you need to be the one who's barefoot. Or did somebody say to you, you're the one who needs to be barefoot?
So I asked my dad the pros and cons because I've never really been into wrestling with shoes on. When I started the training camp, they asked me to go buy shoes, and I bought shoes. I put them on when I walked into the facility, and I was like, I just hate wearing. Like right now, I'm wearing shoes because it's cold outside, but I do not wear shoes ever. My feet are disgusting. It's not a gimmick. That's real life.
That's true.
That is true. And so I use my feet, and so I like it because I get to pack light. I have my trunks. That's it. Put them in my back pocket, and I'm ready to work. I can take my business wherever I go. And kick pads and all that stuff. It's a little more complicated for them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I do it for the. I guess it's easy. Makes life a little easier for me.
And was that something that you ever considered? Like, hey, maybe we should both be barefoot.
Well, I think
so you tried to get him.
He kind of, yeah. Well, he got it too. He got it first, and I was like, how's it gonna be? Two guys barefoot. I don't know. It's just. But I'm more comfortable. I feel like, and I'm more comfortable barefoot, as well. But I think in wrestling, it's just been always. I've never even thought about going barefoot. As soon as he did, I was just like, I'm just gonna wear boots. I just don't like the idea of both of us being barefoot for some reason. I don't know why.
Still to come, part 2 of my sit-down interview with the Von Erich brothers. But when we return, I'll shine a future star spotlight on Shaheem Ali. We'll be right back. All right, I'm here now with Shaheem Ali. Thank you so much for taking the time. We want to shine a future star spotlight on you right now. So why don't we begin by you just kind of telling everybody at home watching who you are.
Well, my name is Shaheem Ali, and I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and right now I'm representing the Bronx.
All right. You are a professional wrestler.
Yes, sir.
Where did you train?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I actually trained when I first in 2006, I trained in like a very shabby garage, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into because the only thing I knew at the time was just what was on TV. And that's all I knew most of the time getting into the business. And I just remember it was somewhere out in, I don't even remember what part of Pennsylvania, but me and a buddy of mine from high school, his stepfather found just a place to go wrestle because we destroyed living rooms and backyards, and he was tired of it. And he got us out there, and I just remember the first day, me being who I am, being a lover of wrestling, I went up there and did a Jeff Hardy Swanton, and we'll never forget it because I was about a $180, and it hurt a lot. And I was just like, I don't know if this is for me, but I started somewhere out in Pennsylvania.
What was the school?
It was called Blackballed Wrestling. I believe at the time the person that was running it was someone by the name of Rock and
The
Rebel.
Rock and Rebel, yes.
I did not know who this guy was.
Yeah.
I got to learn very quickly. I'm not going to say anything because he's gone and passed, but he wasn't what I thought my first trainer would be like.
No.
And I knew I had to get out of there, and I eventually found my way to Philadelphia for this company called ACPW. And I met a lot of people, like Rhett Titus, someone that I'm sure a lot of people know, through Ring of Honor. And I was just lucky to kind of jump around a lot of places, and it wasn't until about, I'd say, and Danny Cage, forgive me for this. It was around like 2011 that I was actually able to find myself in Paulsboro, New Jersey, with the Monster Factory.
Yeah. At the Monster Factory, they have a lot of trainers that'll kind of cycle in and out. They have a lot of guest trainers that'll maybe come in at times. Who are some of the people you had an opportunity to train under?
Bill Wiles, Blue Meanie, and I didn't get a chance to train with X-Pac, but I know he was over there. And Larry Sharp, when he was still around, God rest his soul, and Danny Cage.
So how long did you train before you had your first match?
Ooh, Rock and Rebel rushed me into the business. Let me say, I'd say about 2 months, and I barely knew a thing other than going over the ropes and how to get my ass kicked.
Wow. So today, where are you wrestling now? Where can people find you?
Right now, I'm actually, to be honest, I'm a free agent, and it's very exciting. I was with Ring of Honor Wrestling for about 5.5 years. I was in a tag team called Coast to Coast with Leon St. Giovanni. And currently we have gone our separate ways, and I have not yet to re-sign with Ring of Honor, so I'm just kind of going back to just enjoying the independent scene and then seeing what else is out there.
So what's your, we have a thing on the show where we'll ask, what's your shoot job? What is it that you're doing in the meantime? Because I'd have to imagine, for most of us, until you reach a certain level in the business, you're not paying all of your bills, at least with that, and we all have to have something else on the side. So what are you doing?
Right now I'm a lab technician in Manhattan. It's a pretty cool job. It's a 9-to-5 type deal. I'm able to take care of my kids and still be able to support what I love.
How many kids do you have?
Two.
Two? How old are they?
My son and my daughter. My son is 8. My daughter is 7. Joseph and Isabella. They're not like me, but that's a lie.
Is that good or bad?
My daughter takes after me. My son is more. He's more loving, so to speak, more sentimental like his mother. But my daughter is like me. She wants to go. She wants to wrestle. She wants to fight. She wants to just engage. Wow. She can't help it. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what would you say your motivation is? Talking about you have a family, you have your 9-to-5 job. What motivates you this many years into your career to continue to just keep going, because this is a tough business?
Very much.
And what is it that motivates you to just keep going to get to that next level?
For one, my mother, she passed away in 2014. She was a person who introduced me to professional wrestling as a young kid, and she was the typical hard-working mother who, I didn't have my father around, so she, bare-knuckled, worked her behind off, and one day she sat me in front of a Saturday night event, and that was it. And everything that I do, I'm dedicating it to her and my kids and my wife and the fans. I mean, I love the fans. I love meeting the fans. Anytime I'm able to engage, I'm like excited because they're excited. I'm just like, please get to know me because I want to get to know you. I want to know what you want to see, and I want to be able to deliver that. So, yeah.
What's one of the most challenging aspects of this business for you, of your career? What has been a time that you've maybe questioned and said, I don't know, maybe it's time to hang them up. Maybe it's time to stop this?
For me, I would say anytime that I have to run into politics or just a personal, interpersonal demon, so to speak, that you kind of can build up from wrestling, because sometimes, you might get the booking that you really wanted, and other times if you don't, you start to question yourself, like, am I good enough, or am I what this company wants, or am I what the fans want? And battling those inner demons sometimes can take you off of your game, and I can be honest, I've been there multiple times throughout my years, and I'm still here because I know that I've gotten this far, so I'm doing something right.
Yeah, and the idea here, like we said before, is that people are going to get to know you through this. Give me a reason why someone should be in your corner. I know that's a weird question, but think about it for a second. Why should a fan watching this, why should they be looking at you saying, that's my guy, that's the guy, I'm going to follow him because he's going places?
I can simply say it. I'm the type of person that wants to fight for the people. At the same time, I represent something that others cannot. If they can't, I don't want to get on the topic of bullying, but I know growing up, I had moments where I got bullied, and I always wanted to be that guy to kind of fight back. Mm-hmm. And I go up against anybody that doesn't treat the fans right, because I know there's, sometimes, depending on what goes on, I might even say something that I didn't mean, but I find that fan later on and say I apologize. But I really enjoy professional wrestling. I enjoy the fan. I enjoy the feeling, the reaction, the stories, the emotion. I literally crave this stuff just as much as a fan would, because I was a fan before and I still am. And I like to just basically say I'm a representative of the people in some sort of way. Not everybody has to be my fan, but I know that there's people out there that I have connected with that believe in me and see what I can do and what I will do and what I want to do.
What's your social media that people can follow you?
On Twitter and on Instagram, it's at Shaheem Ali 1985. And if I were to change it, it would just still be at Shaheem Ali 85. So there's two different ways to connect. I'm always around. I'm always able to talk. I have no problem answering anything. So,
well, listen, I wish you nothing but the best moving forward in your career. And I think I speak for everyone watching where I say we're excited to see what's next for you. Free agent, going out there, and
I love wrestling, man.
I'm excited to see where you're going to end up.
Nothing wrong with that, man. You gotta go out there and enjoy life. You can't sit back and just have those what ifs, because if you do that, you'll be 70 years old complaining about
with regrets,
I should
right?
have.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a lot of should haves now. So.
One thing is for sure, yeah. When you're 70 years old, you're going to look back and you say, I did it. Not I should have.
I want to do as much as I possibly can. Yep. Especially I want to inspire the youth and inspire those that are my age. And I'm not going to reveal that, but
I think the 1985 might give it away.
Yeah. Probably. I hope a lot of people can't do math. No offense.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with everything.
When we return, part 2 of my interview with the Von Erichs. We'll be right back.
What would you say were some of the most difficult, some of the toughest moments in your career to date? And then also, what have been some of the most rewarding, what have been the best moments so far in your career?
Yeah, well, we feel like the glory is in the struggle. Like the reward is in how hard it is to get to achieve what you're striving for. And so I think for us in Japan, when we first started, I think a lot of the hard stuff, we obviously wrestled guys like Takeshi Sugura and Marufuji, and like guys that they know exactly what they're doing, and not only I think did they not go easier on us because of them, I think in Japan, because they have such respect for it, they'll even go harder on you, and so that can be defeating, especially in training. It's like you're sparring with all these guys you look up to, and it's just like, because you spar, and then as time goes by, you get tired, and then they bring the next guy in and you just tap out, and it's just like it beats you down. It
humbles you.
Yeah, exactly. It humbles you all the way down, and I think you just find a way to build yourself back up.
Yeah. Big time.
So the toughest experience you'd say in your career at that point was that training? Was that breaking in at that?
Yeah, I would say it was the whole first 2-3 month tours of Japan, because it was not, well, the first one we didn't even wrestle. It was mostly putting the ring together, cleaning the dojo, making the food for the wrestlers, carrying their bags, just everything that we could do to serve them. Like that's what we're taught. That's what you do. You're respectful. All it's respect. It's all about respect over there, and I think that was one of the main benefits. I think is just respect for the business and for the other wrestlers. I think,
and not to mention the language barrier. The language barrier that made things difficult because we didn't want to come off as young snobby kids. That's what we've been like our whole life. We didn't want to ever come off like that. And my dad's made us earn everything. We grew up on a farm in Texas, building fences and stuff. So like we weren't rich, spoiled kids, and that's what like our whole life we're trying to prove to people. It's not that way, because growing up in Texas, being a Von Erich, teachers and stuff like that. Oh, your dad's Kevin Von Erich, and they can, they treat you like you're gonna come off snobby, and you're just like, my whole life is trying to just show people I'm not like I'm just.
There's an expectation.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
People have an expectation whether they know you or not.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so. But Japan was nothing but rewarding. Like in the long run, in the time I was young and I'd complain to him. We'd complain to each other. We tried to keep it to ourselves, but we couldn't hide it on our face. We're homesick and stuff, but it was so good for us. It made us grow as men, grow as brothers. The amount of pressure the guys put on us in our matches and stuff made us better wrestlers. And so I have nothing but I'm nothing but grateful now for everything those men did.
What was the motivation that you guys had? Was it leaning on each other with it? When there was that time when you'd look at each other's faces and both of you were on the same page here, we're not enjoying this aspect today, maybe whatever it is. What was it that made you say, yeah, this part sucks, but we got to keep going?
Well, we realized that we are all we have in Japan. That's what we came to. It was like, man, and we got along our lives, but that made us just a lot closer. Where we just stuck by each other at that point. And we got home and like. We can speak English to other people now. We're kind of just like glued to the side. Yeah.
We at one point we started kind of speaking broken English to each other.
My English got worse. Yeah. I use my hands a lot. And
I use maybe like 5 times in a sentence. I'd just be like, maybe I go to store, okay? Or
just used to cutting out some of the other
exactly.
not necessary parts of the sentence.
But yeah, like you were saying, when you see your brother over there, you see the look on his face, and he's dealing with the exact same things you're dealing with. Where he comes from, and what he's dealing with, and how he's taking everything in, and so it gives you kind of a compassion and kind of like an older brother, kind of like just like protective thing. And also we had this mutual understanding, like we're not going to quit. We've heard of guys going in and we know they're going to be hard on us, and so our main thing is we're not going to quit. We're going to ride this thing out, and we're just going to give it our best.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to quit. If we're not coming back, it's because we're getting fired or something. It's not, we're not going to go and give up. And that was the thing too. We're representing my father as well, and so coming home, and when we came home from that, we got even closer, to our dad. We got to share road stories, and there was just we feel like we got closer to our uncles, even just to my dad's stories, and then working in the same buildings, driving on the same roads, and my first name's Kevin, his first name's David. We go through the Japanese. What do you call it?
Security.
Yeah, Japanese. And they.
Or the ticket counter.
Yeah, the ticket counter, and one of the guys recognized Kevin Atkinson and David Atkinson. He said, 20 years ago, the Von Erich brothers came through here, and we're Kevin's sons. And the guy was like, got teary-eyed.
Wow.
And we're just like, wow, with the history that my uncles and grandfather they have in Japan and just all around the world. And so it was just, it was like, this is a big opportunity. Let's not quit. Definitely not quit.
For as much unfortunate tragedy your family had, and obviously for your father to have to deal with all of that, you still have in the wrestling business the legacy. Everybody thinks of the Von Erich family in such a positive light, even with everything that happened. What type of a legacy are you hoping for yourselves individually in this business to kind of be able to create, and also what are you hoping your legacy is going to do to affect the Von Erich family as a whole?
This might answer your question. We were working in. We got back from Japan and we were just doing some spot shows and stuff. But then we started coming in the Dallas area and Texas area, and we were in Burleson, Texas, a small country town, and it was our first time main eventing a show, and we're the main event right now. These people came to see us. And we saw like these kids just kind of just like hovering by us, like these little boys just hovering by us. And I remember the way a wrestler makes you feel when you're 8 years old. You think like, wow, this guy's larger than life. This if you're a wrestling fan, and that platform is really important. And a lot of wrestlers they get to that point, and sometimes they'll forget, that kid was you, and what you say, he's going to remember forever, and you can use that as that platform for good, and there's a lot of kids with come from broken homes, come into wrestling matches to get away from all the crap they got going on at home. And so it is a good time, just love on kids, and that was what was keeping us in it until this huge blessing MLW came, and now it's just like we're going on the East Coast, and we're wrestling in Philadelphia, Chicago, Milwaukee, New York, like places we couldn't imagine we'd be wrestling in, and to know that the people are behind us too. And as far as legacy goes, I'm not sure. We're still in it, and right now this is one of the funnest parts of our career, I think, at this point in time right now. And I think just our legacy is trying to make the most of every moment we have.
Yeah, that also, and I think everybody needs to know, my dad now, in the place he's at right now is he's in such a good place, and I think some kind of what we feel like the things are lining up is it's a good ending, to everything that's happened to my dad and everything, and my dad has no greater joy than to see us, wrestling on TV and doing stuff, and he didn't pressure us whatsoever getting into it, but the fact that we're doing it now, he's just smiling from ear to ear. I've never seen him so happy, and I can't thank MLW enough for making that a possibility. And but yeah, we feel like now it just we want people to see that it's okay for my dad. He's not living in some some sad life somewhere.
He's the happiest guy I've ever met.
He's got
fantastic.
He's got this plastered on smile that's just genuine. He's just so joyful, and it's
I was going to say, something my dad said to us that I'll never forget is he was saying, life isn't about the destination. A lot of guys spend their whole life trying to get to a certain point, and my dad's like, it's about the journey. It really is about the journey. You can waste your whole life trying to get to that destination when life is about the little things. You're baking and eggs in the morning, your kids in the room laughing or whatever. It's little things, and when he was saying that, we really are trying to just learn from his mistakes and take what he says to heart, and we really are trying because we're human. You wake up and you am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right place? But when you come to a show and you get to encourage somebody. Sometimes we get an opportunity to even like pray with somebody. You know, that comes, people coming like sick or from, like I was saying, broken homes or whatever, and our faith is important to us, and so it's you know, it gives, that's what we are. You know, it's, wrestling is just a platform. You know, wrestling is just a platform for other opportunities, but we're just happy. We're happy to be here. That's it.
Well, I wish you guys nothing but the best and future success, and thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you to my guests. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Join us again next time for another edition of On the Ropes with Josh Shernoff.